Hello everybody, my name is Vilga the Observer, and today we have a big chunk of forest to enjoy. And if you're a subscriber, you should know that these days I've been drawing lots of monsters and items, lore, like characters. I even made a big map of a little corner of one continent, the continent of Glaive, and the big map is of northern Glaive, but I really felt like my world is lacking some cool visuals of the actual environment. So today we're going to be talking about the forest surrounding the Foggy Marsh, okay? The Foggy Marsh, which is this place right here, the Foggy Marsh, and this is a map of northern Glaive on the continent of Glaive, and right here is the Foggy Marsh. This is where the Rat Scouts live. The Rat Scouts and their bush trees, they live in their bush trees. And in this forest, the forest next to it, the forest that's surrounding the Foggy Marsh, this forest is called Harvester Woods. Okay, so Harvester Woods. I've mentioned before how the Rat Scouts survive primarily by foraging. And they only hunt when necessary because they much prefer foraging. And why do they prefer foraging instead of hunting? Well, the Harvester Woods is actually one of the main reasons why. And the area the Rat Scouts live in is super rich in its natural resources, especially inside of the Harvester Woods. And it happens to be one of the favorite places for the Rat Scouts to forage because of the immense amount of stuff they can just quite literally pick up and take back home so everybody can eat. And in this painting you see now, this painting that I'm doing, I made sure to include at least 2 plants that they can eat. Like, it's right in the foreground, it's like in the front. And one of them I'm going to be calling the Crown of Thorns carrot. It's like a green colored radish, but I'm gonna call it a carrot, and it's got thorns on the top, so I'm gonna call it the Crown Thorns carrot, and the other one's a purple broccoli. The purple broccoli is actually a terrifying vegetable that I'll have to cover sometime soon, because it's not just related to it's not just an ordinary vegetable. It's related to people, it's related to death, it's related to monsters too. But the Crown of Thorns carrot, I don't really know if I want to explore that further. It's just a carrot, you pick it up, you eat it. Anyway, today I'm going to be talking about just the forest. So the Harvester Woods is actually immense in size. It's super big. I've mentioned before how northern Glaive is immense, and it would take people a very long time to go to even the nearest town. So I really wanted the Harvester Woods to truly feel enormous. And to achieve this, I made sure to make the background dark. And you can't really see any trunks, like tree trunks anywhere, aside from the one in the focal point that I've drawn here. And what I wanted you to see and feel, if you would ever go inside this forest, is just imagine everything is dimly illuminated from the occasional patches of sky peeking through the canopy. And even though it's a forest, you can seem to travel quite freely, quite freely, without having to avoid too much foliage, too many trees, getting stuck in some roots and vines. In fact, it's supposed to feel like you're walking through some, maybe even some plains, and occasionally every minute or two you'll come across another tree, but you can't really see the trees because it's so dark. And to be able to keep seeing trees, you're gonna have to keep on walking, because the visibility is low, so you won't see any trees if you don't keep walking. You'll just see the one that's nearest to you. And there's just something in the air and something in the water, and instead the kinds of plants that grow here are more of the weirder plants that just evolved, and they're growing in this forest. They don't grow anywhere else. What's the word again? I forgot the word. I'll put it up here on screen. It's the word that is used to describe things that only exist in one place and nowhere else, kind of like the animals in Madagascar. But whatever. They have evolved to become just so big and so dangerous to even people. And this applies to the trees. The trees are distanced quite far apart from each other, and they're so big that they can actually cover up the sky. And this big tree trunk I'm drawing here is inspired by a banyan tree, where they just let roots hang down from their branches. And in this painting, I'm showing them sort of just swaying in the wind. So imagine once more you go inside this forest, and what you see is near total darkness. Lots of open space, as if you're walking on a regular plain. But the dirt is super dark colored, and you will encounter a new tree every minute or two, and these trees grow so big you can't even see the canopy because they just transition into total darkness if you look up. As if you're looking down a hole, but it's in reverse because it's above you. And occasionally you'll just come across something you can pick up, something edible, and you can take all of that food that you found home with you to share with everybody else. Now, if you just think back to everything I've said, everything I've just told you about the Harvester Woods, it probably sounds like it's quite an eerie forest and a creepy looking one, but it's actually a very good place because it gives you lots of food. But no, the reason it's called Harvester Woods isn't just because people can just come in and forage as they wish. It's actually got a double meaning. The Harvester Woods is also a place where monsters hunt people. Okay, so for some reason, the monsters in this forest is absolutely dangerous, and they look physically just gross, like they're repulsive looking. And there are lots of demonic creatures living here as well. So we got the slug ape that I've designed recently. We have the gasping ape. This is just like one of them that's going to be living here. The cackle face. Okay, the cackle face, pretty looking guy. Mushroom mimics, and on rare occasions, Jorgo will appear and burn things. And the reason why there's lots of crazy, weird, and big and dangerous monsters is also because there's just something in the air and something in the water. And it's also the reason why these evolved plants here exist to begin with. And is also the reason why the rat scouts have green hair. Okay, I've mentioned in the previous video how they have green hair. As you've heard me say lots of times, the rat scouts are actually called rat scouts because their clothing is made from giant rat skin. And they happen to be so good at knowing all of the little tricks necessary so they don't die. Despite living in such a dangerous place, is why they're called rat scouts, because they just survive just like rats, and they know what to do to avoid fights, and they know where to go to enter the forest safely, and they know how to get home safely. And the Harvester Woods is enough of a temptation to make the rat scouts just sort of learn all of this super difficult to learn knowledge necessary for them to survive so they don't die. Which is why they primarily just forage, and they just don't do much of hunting, even though foraging is very risky to do here. But if you do everything right, it's definitely much more rewarding. So the Harvester Woods is actually that much of a temptation. And in this painting itself, I made sure to include at least like these little figures. The little figures sitting down under this big tree at a bonfire, and there are little figures also to the right, like a little to the right. They're not too far away from the tree, and they're trying to look for food. They're foraging, and the two under the tree at the bonfire, they're resting. The rat scouts, this is them in action. We haven't really seen them in action yet. We've just been seeing them after they finished with their action, or they're just standing around because they're like, just I'm doing character art, But we see them in action now, even though they're so small. They're so far away, we can only see them as being like so small. And I think I want to do more of these big environments, because before I start to zoom in a little closer to show you a close-up of how the rat scouts forage and hunt. But that's going to be topic for another video. And I also wanted to mention how I have done lots of renditions of the bush tree, which is a type of a tree house that the rat scouts live in. And I do still plan on drawing more and more bush trees, with the rat scouts being shown living inside of them. So just not like an empty interior. I really want to show them being inside of the bush trees and just doing stuff, you know, like living, just doing living, like home living, like regular stuff, eating, sleeping, talking. It could be anything. And but I think it's best to just do that when I get better at drawing. So what do you guys think, huh? What do you think about the Harvester Woods? What do you think about the Red Scouts and their way of life, and about the monsters I've drawn and are living in this forest? What do you think about Persevera? Let me know in the comments down below. Did you think I captured the vibes of this forest well? I mean, it's supposed to be dark with occasional patches of foliage, with lots of just giant trees you will truly only see if you keep on walking. So yeah, comment down below, let me know what you think, and please, if you haven't already, please subscribe, leave a like so that it helps my videos get pushed to other people so that they can come here and watch as well. And I'm very thankful for you if you've managed to get this far. Thank you for watching my videos, it means a lot. And yeah, I guess that'll be it for this video, and I'll see you next time.